Alaye, no de shalaye. Can't tell many blessings, no de. Let's go there. That's today's song. No de shalaye. But hey, come on. It is. Welcome to the second half of the show. And if you are just getting out of bed, you're just getting out of bed. What's the time?
It's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, no,
Don't you stay in bed sometimes till 8 o'clock?
Exactly.
You do, right?
10 a.m. No. Yes,
And you're sleeping.
That's not exactly sleeping. You know
Okay.
how the first thing that comes to your mind when you wake up in the morning and
Okay.
hey, no one should judge me.
Okay.
It's your phone. Like,
Okay.
oh my God, all the messages, business,
Yeah.
customers, all the things that you need to attend
do.
So yeah.
Okay, but of course, if you're going to stay in your bed, that means that your bed is comfortable. It's not a bed you can stay in your bed. But hey, come on. It's going to be a wonderful show. Thank you for being a part of this show. The first half has been wonderful, of course. We've been cooking in the kitchen. We'll get to that. Our chef looks like he knows what he's doing there. That's
Guys,
very, very serious.
bro, he's been in it for 23 years.
And some people were just born that time. He has been cooking since then.
Hey.
Mama. Well, we'll get back to that later on. Let's get straight into what we have left on the show. My name is Mike Messi-Keno.
And I am Ime Okocha. Do not forget that we are the fuel that keeps your fire burning. So it's important to always stay tuned
Ushe
here
Filling Station.
on the Wake Up Nigeria show. Yes.
Ushe Filling Station.
And hey, you don't get subsidy removal on this one. Yeah.
All right,
No.
okay, all right. Remember, you can download the app. It's available on Android, iOS. You can watch us anywhere around the world. Let's get straight into it. What we have left for you this morning. We have a music performance.
We do.
Producer and my director this morning,
Oh.
Zainab and
Shegun.
Shegun. Two of you go to
What really, Mike?
God, what two of you are doing this morning? Yeah, but guys, yeah.
So I caught up on a tweet. I think it was in the early hours of this morning or sometime last night. I can't really remember. But it just sort of, and which a lot of Nigerians right now watching would resonate with it. So this guy was talking about how, he was in traffic. He took a Danfo, he was in a Danfo bus, and he was stuck in this traffic for hours. And, in traffic, how, especially if you're sitting close to the window, it's important for you not to wing out your phone.
Wow. Wow.
So this babe was sitting by the window, and Baba said, immediately he just noticed Kini. He just hid his own phone. Before he could say Jack Robinson, they had moved that girl's phone, and he said they did not even find the person that stole the girl's.
Wow.
See,
Wow.
I've told you guys this story now.
It's like film trick.
I've not told you guys this story.
You've said it.
I have.
You
It happened to me. Like, no, forget anything. It did happen.
happened to me too.
Oh, it's like rapture. You did.
It's just that I have very strong impulses. This happened to me twice. Once it was in a Danfo. The other time it was in my car. I was on I was at the passenger seat, and the person actually climbed on the, because it was an SUV, climbed on the tray. It was the trauma I had that day, Mike. I'm not even going to lie. So guys, be careful.
My own was there. I can remember the place. It's just here. I didn't want to Alakpere K2 here. I was just there like this, in back of Danfo like this with it was the tab, very nice tab. I was just watching film. I was just relaxing. Back seat like this, windows open, blaming breeze. Me in my mind, cinema not get past this one.
Wow.
This is usual.
It was gone.
You just be like Instagram transition. Yeah.
But
You know what? Somebody be like, hey, yeah. See,
it's crazy.
It
No,
is
but
happens to
crazy.
you.
But I actually am extremely paranoid. I'm extremely paranoid about that thing. I'm very, very paranoid. So anytime I'm in the car, the screen light is always on the dimmest. My phone is always like below, babe. So paranoid.
Nobody told me again. Nobody told me again. After that, even if all the glasses are
wound up. Phone is down.
Eh?
Yeah. I will tell you the part of the story. The part of the story is one of my best experiences with the police, because you will not believe it. I got that tar back.
You're joking.
I am telling you, the next day, you will not believe it. I got that tar back.
Yeah.
But I saw the guy, whoop, take off, pa, 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 pa. Hey, you know when they say speechless? That's all. Forget. It's like I wanted to talk, the talk. It goes on your body. You won't get to say, hey, yeah, that's what they do for you.
That's Michael Jackson.
I just, it's just that thing again. Hey, what just happened? What just like
Something just happened right now.
So I said, how we ended was that somehow, I called the number. I didn't have the number with me, so when I went home, I went to the SIM pack. Called the number, and that evening, somebody picked up.
Are you kidding?
And it was the police.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
So how did it, what
So what happened was that the guy took off, and then when he took off, a policeman by the side saw him taking off and shot into the air.
Whoa.
And so he threw the tab this way and went this way.
So the police officer picked it up.
I am telling you.
Wow.
I went to Area F that day. I picked that. I was so happy. I got it. I told them thank you. And, you know, this is, people don't talk about it too much, but when I do something, I'll talk about the good things. The police, they can't be. I know there's a lot you want to say about the police, but on that day, I shook him and I was so happy. And yeah, Nigerian police.
But from then on, you never held your tablet in the car like this again.
They born you well.
yeah.
Not like this.
Yeah, I hope you've gotten your lessons from it. So guys, I know that a lot of people now are taking public transportation now to save monies.
Yeah.
So please, don't use your, if you're sitting by the window sill, don't use your phone. Keep it.
It was Obalende.
And look out for
to Ikeja.
yourself.
That's that big dog.
You know what?
forget that day.
At this point, we're going to be taking a weather update, but we have so much more for you after this. And we're back in the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen. Chef Ara hard at work here. We're making porridge yam a la Chef Ara. Honestly, when it comes to putting ingredients together in one pot, there's a lot to do before it goes into that pot.
Yes.
So that's what we've basically been doing. We've been prepping all through. He's done a quick scrub of the pomo just now. He's done a quick rinse of the crayfish. Now, this crayfish is still whole. You're not blending it down at all. You're just going to put it in there. Okay, well, fantastic. We've diced the onions now. Oh, we didn't dice. You sliced them.
I sliced my onions.
You don't make them small? Really? Why? Why?
This is going to get you more flavor out when eating it.
When it's in its whole form like this?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Now, the scent leaf, you plucked them, but are you still planning to?
We're going to cut them, but not too...
Not too small?
Not too small.
Okay, all right.
So now, we're set to put in everything.
Okay, fantastic. So which goes first?
The pepper goes in first.
Okay. You use one of these little manual slicers. This is really cute.
Gives us
a chunky vegetable feel, eh?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. But only the pepper?
Only the pepper goes,
okay.
I mean, goes like that, so the fish goes in.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know. You know, my aunties, uncles, my dad that used to teach me to cook, they always used to say the fish goes in last, so that...
I put in the fish first. Why? Because I want the flavor of the fish to go into the fish.
Into the yam. Okay. All right. Now,
The onions.
the onions go on top. Interesting. Wow.
So we're leaving some onions.
You're leaving some by the side, okay?
So we
Then
allow
you
this
cover.
to get cooked.
Oh, okay.
While we are waiting for it to get cooked, we get our pomo.
So
I'm sure you are expecting it to be diced.
you mean the pomo? But you are slicing it into long strips. Interesting. Wow. Because I actually wondered, you know, pomo, mostly when you finally see it here at the kitchen, it's been cut into tiny, tiny pieces. But you want them long like this. Now, wow, Chef Ara. The green peppers, are they going to be diced anytime soon?
The green pepper is going in when you are putting in the vegetable.
Oh, interesting. Okay, all right. But is it as hot as the red pepper?
Not actually, but it has a different flavor in.
So it's not like hot.
No.
So if I was to eat that whole now, just put it in my mouth now, how would it go?
Can you stand it?
I don't know. Which one is hotter? Is it the red
The
one?
red one is hotter.
Okay, all right. So that's all I need to know.
Can you stand putting it in your mouth?
Well, you know, if you have something standing by, maybe like ice cold water or milk, something like standing by
All right.
to cool your mouth off, maybe you can. But you know there are competitions where they do that. There's some competitions where people just eat whole pepper.
at once.
Yeah, at once. But our one pot porridge yam is well underway. The pomo is going in now. The pepper went first. The fish on top. The onions. Now the pomo right on top there. There's still so much more to do. We can't wait for you to see the finished product. Thank you, Chef. Thank you very much. All right, we have a quick break coming your way, but we have so much more after this.
We are live at the celebration of Morayo Afolabi Brown's 10 years on Talk TV and her book launch. Woo! I am so excited to be here, of course. And if you're wondering, why am I so dressed? It is because the theme is Owambe Party. Also, we're going to be giving you a scoop as well into the event. So, guys, let's get going. Let's go.
Throughout the time Morayo was writing the book we're here to launch, I didn't participate, I didn't contribute much, because I thought I knew all the stories, everything she was going to write about since I've met her. But when the final copies came out, the finished product, it looked fascinating to me. And because of that, I read it back to back. And to my shock, I realized Morayo exposed herself, she stripped herself virtually naked in that book. And I raised an alarm that, look, Morayo, you can't do this to yourself. These books must be burnt, and you must rewrite some parts. And Morayo said to me that, look, Femi, all my life, the truth has always set me free.
When I became the commissioner, she came to me and said, I want to work with you. She actually worked in my office for like 3.5 years without any pay. She was also involved whenever we were brainstorming about solutions, brainstorming about what next action to take, brainstorming about what was most suitable for the state. In fact, everything we did, she was heavily involved.
The story surrounding my birth is quite an interesting one. My mother belonged to the cream de la cream of society. She was popular and influential, especially in the 80s and 90s. She was a role model to young business people and was known as a fashion icon and influencer. It does seem like the kind of book you would purchase for especially your daughters in your communities, other young ladies who want to go into media, so that they can also have someone to look up to, because I don't feel there are enough women in media that have put themselves out there like this to this extent and have become this successful. There are not enough of them. There is loads of room for many more amazing media women to grow, and this is a first step. Once again, please, a round of applause. Please, I think we should give her a standing ovation, actually. I think we should ask everyone to stand up and give her a round of applause. Morayo Afolabi Brown, everyone.
The reason why this book was important, as my husband said in the opening remark, I practically stripped myself. You hear about my upbringing. Many do not know the kind of struggles I went through as a young child. You hear about my sojourn when I traveled to the US. You hear about my car accident when God saved my life. For those of you who are going to be writing books after this, please know your real stories is what Nigerian young people need. Your real experiences is is what we need to hear, so we can learn from it and they can truly know the depth of the experience God has been passed us through. Thank you very much for your support. God bless you all.
I want to wish her well. She's doing her program. Everybody has said it, that she's very cultural, respectful, a good wife, a good mother. So, I mean, I just hope that others can follow her footsteps and understand that success doesn't mean lack of humility.
Moriah has done very well. As I said when I was praying, it is the outcome of the pursuit of a vision, the fulfillment of a dream, and part of fulfilling God's purpose for your life. And I thank God and I like it that Moriah is working in her purpose.
I was surprised to hear that it's 10 years that your view have started. And she has been consistent. And I would say that program has brought hope to different homes. That program has brought healing to so many souls within the country and outside the country.
Well, it's good to put your thoughts in book form, because these days, say, people need to tell their own stories. Don't wait for other people to tell your stories. And I like what she's done. And I sincerely appreciate that she's done that at this point in time. 10 years in the industry, at a time when it was difficult, right? And she's carved a niche for herself and she's stuck with it. I can only congratulate her.
Your View is a lovely talk show anchored by women of different political views, but with very strong values. I really love watching the show, and you know that you can always get a broad spectrum of views about any topic, and then you can draw your own conclusions from, just from watching the show.
Mike, why should I not be happy?
Okay, permit me, I'm still trying to get myself set, man.
How can you be getting yourself set when people should already see you already set?
Good morning and welcome.
Wake Up Nigeria show, people.
Yeah, good morning, welcome. It's midweek, right?
Yes, it is.
More, this June not the end, bro.
You all said that it was being slow.
Who said?
Now it's here.
It's running. Huh? Good. Well, they say time runs fast as you get older.
Right.
So what does that mean?
That you are getting older.
Well, hey, come on. We are here to ensure that we give you a beautiful and stressless walk with yet. We're halfway. Just hang on there.
Yes. I mean, if you are, it's Wednesday today, so that means that you have survived the difficult part of the week. So keep going, keep pushing. Don't let anyone stop you. You get through it eventually. And if you begin to feel overwhelmed, just take a pause and take a deep breath. Remember, Akshay, always take a deep breath in.
They don't. All right. It's going to be a wonderful morning. Thank you for staying with us. Remember, the show, it's live on GoTV channel 16. And then on the ultra high frequency, that's terrestrial band, it's 49.
Yes, and of course, you could also download the app on our iOS or Android store. Do not forget that you can also reach out to us on all our socials at TVC Connect. Do not forget to use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria.
Definitely. If you don't know me, my name is Mike Messikeno.
And I am Ime Okoche.
Let's get straight into what we have this morning. We'll kick off with relationship. We discuss the role of finance in decision making when choosing a partner with Dari Olatolu. I was practicing my pose. I was learning from our pageant organizer. So that
he's not a pageant organizer.
Okay.
He's more of he helps to prop beauty queens.
Oh.
Yeah. So how to sit, how to walk. He teaches on poise.
How to wave.
Yeah, how to wave. When you get the crown eventually, how to sit properly.
What if you don't get the crown?
Well.
Do they teach those that do not win how to walk away? Well, anyways, how's your week been so far?
Well, it has been okay. Elsie isn't feeling too well, so I would say that it's been a thrilling week so far for me. But she's getting better. She's getting better.
She didn't go to
so
school, though.
Yeah, she's still at home. So still spending so much time trying to cater to her, making sure that she's better.
And then you, what have you been doing? Oh, this week
But
has
you know
been...
how it is when a child is ill, the
Yeah,
mother is ill as well.
it affects you. It does. You definitely feel the same way, especially. But then at least she's gone to the age where she can tell what's wrong with her.
Yes,
if it was at an age where you cannot say what's wrong with you, you feel it even more, and all of that. Yeah, but for me, it's been, of course, I was here Monday, Tuesday, so it's been a little bit on the restful side. But then from now on, it's going to be a marathon. All right. Okay. So let's make it happen. Let's take a look at the weather. The day's show is just getting started. Good morning. It's the news on Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Mike Messi-Keno. Begin in France, where President Bola Tinubu has arrived to join other world leaders to review and sign a new global financial pact that places vulnerable countries on priority list for support and investment following devastating impact of climate change, energy crisis, and the after effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. The two-day summit hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron has the theme Focused 2030 and will hold from June the 22nd to 23rd at the Palais Brongniart. According to a statement by Special Advisor, Special Duties, Communication and Strategy, Dele Alake, the summit will look at the opportunities to restore fiscal space to countries that face difficult short-term financial challenges, especially the most indebted, mobilize innovative financing for countries vulnerable to climate change, foster development in low-income countries, and encourage investment in green infrastructure for the energy transition in emerging and developing economies. Now, Bureau de Change operators in Kano State have appealed to the federal government to also enlist them in the free foreign exchange trade policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The chairman of Al Amanat Bureau de Change Association, Sani Dada, who spoke exclusively to TVC, urged the Apex Bank to allow them to participate in the new policy. Sani Dada noted that Bureau de Change operators, when granted access, will relate cordially with travelers when the need for business or personal travel allowance arises.
Since we are registered, we BDCs and the commercial bank, we are all registered from the CBN. So we want to take part of this distribution. Since now there is no any problem, because you know the Mr. President help in unification of one price. So that one price, you don't have any power to put another extra charges or to sell your dollars beyond the federal government instruction. So there is full control from the CBN.
And then outside Nigeria, the tourist submersible that went missing on a visit to the wreck of the Titanic with 5 people on board has just about 30 hours of air left. That's according to the U.S. Coast Guard. Contact with the small sub was lost about an hour and 45 minutes into its dive to the wreck site of the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. On Sunday, British-Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood and his son Suleiman were on board, along with British businessman and explorer Hamish Harding. Paul Henry Nagulet, a former French Navy diver who has explored the Titanic before, is also on the vessel, as is Stockton Rush, chief executive of Ocean Gate, the firm behind the dive. Captain Jamie Frederick has told the news conference that the search for the missing vessel is very complex, and teams are working around the clock. U.S. President Joe Biden has expressed his thoughts for the missing submersible's crew and family members.
And we are back. Thanks for staying with us. It is time to go through the front pages of the newspaper. And of course, I won't be doing this alone. I've got Mike Messi-Keno.
Is that how you used to introduce your analyst with that respect?
Mike Messi-Keno.
What kind of dishes? I'm not analyzing it.
All right, let's do this quickly. Quite interesting headlines. Stories actually making the headlines on the papers this morning. And on the Daily Trust newspaper, we have subsidy removal, Naira devaluation hike, RAM price. And okay, so we don't have Daily Trust right now. So let's move over to the Guardian newspaper. And on the Guardian newspaper, making the headlines here, we have digital switchover falters. 29 states remain on analog. And yeah.
Yeah, so
Mike?
digital switchover, we've been expecting this since last time I knew, 2015. You know, there was supposed to be that digital switchover when it comes to television and all of that. That means that terrestrial people will not be able to access airwaves terrestrially the way we used to. That means everything
That's
will be in the
free
box.
to air.
Yeah, free to air and all of that. This has been a long time coming. The world at different points, there were different dates. It was shifting and shifting and shifting. You know, 1 year, 2 years, 2015. I know there was a real push around 2015 time because I remember what I was doing then. I had just put up a few years into broadcasting, and then there was all that talk about the digital switchover. But as it stands here, as a country, are we set infrastructurally for that? No, we're not yet ready. We're not yet ready. You know, after that time, you know, there was even talk about the demise of radio. Everything was going to be online. But first of all, as a country, are we that data? You know, we are. Yes, everything now relies on data. But do we have
the
an
resources
that is in such a way that we have enough data to power everything?
everything.
To do? So the point now is that if everybody cannot do it, then it's going to be a problem. You understand? From what we can see from the Guardian, we can see states like Rivers State.
Rivers State, yeah.
You know,
We could also
there's
see
Lagos. There's you know, Kwara State.
Plateau.
There's FCT. You know, there's Plateau State. There's Kano State. That's too few. That's too few. It's supposed to be something that
more widespread.
You know, more widespread and all that. So the NCC and all the bodies involved in and all of that, there's quite a lot of work to be done. We cannot keep giving deadlines and keep pushing them, as it were.
Okay, let's move over to the Daily Trust newspaper. We have that right now. And making the headlines here, subsidy removal, Naira devaluation hike RAM price. Of course, we all know that the subsidy removal has actually affected the cost of goods and services. Everything is going up. Right?
It does.
And
it does.
so, Ilea is around the corner, so.
It is. Of course, the Sultan announced 28th and 29th as a celebration at Eid al-Qadir. Yeah, and it's going to be, it's a celebration. This is the one that you give us RAM, right? This is it.
So we eventually get to eat RAM meat.
So they're not going to tell us that, this is not the big one, this is not the RAM. Oh no, this is it. And you know, I've been hearing different prices and jokes about how some people are talking about RAM as high as 500,000 naira and all of that. Yes, it affects them. But something I love about the religion is that, see, you don't have to buy a whole RAM. Families can come together. So at this particular point in time, what happens? The same way we're talking about carpooling, you have to rampool.
Exactly.
So families can come together, right? That's okay. You know, come together and contribute and get the RAM, and then you share it. That's okay. That's how it's done. So we have to find ways to go around all of
I think that's a formula that's really going to work, and it's a good one.
Yeah,
and I really hope that a lot of families can.
I mean, that's why I love the religion. So I'm looking forward to my RAM.
But then again, does that not also affect the size of RAM?
You see, the point is that even if it's so a reference I wanted to make, but no, let's just leave that one now. The point is that you are partaking in the festivities as it were,
exactly.
You know, and whichever way. And I love that it's a time to share, it's a time to give. So, you know, no matter how small, find a way, it will go around.
Yeah. Okay, there's another story that actually got my attention, and this particular story is on all of the papers. EFCC releases Otom after 9 hours of questioning. And of course, we all know that he was summoned yesterday by the EFCC on misappropriation of funds worth over 187 billion naira.
You see, the thing about the EFCC, recently also, I think just a few days back, we heard the story of the case of, you know, the Ikoyi flats, where different currencies in different denominations were found in that flat. We heard about prosecution for the case not being available and all of that, and so that the case has been dropped also. As it stands, the EFCC has at different times been accused of selective judgment when it comes to different things. So I'm trying to say that, look, at this particular point in time, there's a new EFCC, an acting EFCC, you know, chairman there and all of that. Hopefully, we are not selective in the way we deliver justice. If anybody has been found to misappropriate funds, then that person should be made to dance to the tune of the music. that he or her played.
I agree with you.
You should not be selective.
I agree with you. And so let's move on to another paper this morning, and that is the Vanguard newspaper. And making the headlines here, anxiety as ex-depot petrol price rises to 490 naira per litre. And well, we are hoping that the price drops, yet it's increasing.
So
and here we are seeing a retail price rises to 515,
yeah.
and majors marketers lift at 446.57 per litre. Wow, Mike.
Okay, so the point is that, yes, they're talking about the depot price, the ex-depot price, because, of course, when it comes into the depot, these people buy, and then, of course, they're going to add what their transportation and all of that, and, of course, it's going to fall down to the end consumer. It is now a free market. The price is now open there and all of that. So we need competition. You know, as it stands, it is reported that it is only Dangote that will be importing fuel up until his refinery gets to work. I don't know how that will help, but look, when there's competition in the market, then you would see prices that are favorable because, look, people will have to find a way to sell. But the point is that another annotation on that headline says that there is no regulation at the filling stations. Now, that is the problem. It's good. It might be for a while. We might not have regulation because people are sourcing for the money and sourcing for the product on different ways. So you can't tell the person to have a fixed price, because then when we had a overhead regulator, a watchdog selling at that price, then you could regulate. But now it's going to be harder because people are doing it on their own. So now my point is that it might take some time before we can think of regulation when it comes to the filling stations. That is how it will be for now. It takes some time for that balance.
I am really looking forward to the regulation because it's actually going to cause some sort of stability, you know, in the system. Okay, let's move over to the Punch newspaper. And making the headlines here, new service chiefs, 100 military generals may be retired.
Normal.
And on the
thing.
On the riders here, retirement guild to hit Army, Air Force, Navy, Course 37. Others may be affected. And of course, we have a picture story here of the Vice President, Yer Shatima, here decorating the acting Inspector General, Egbetokun, as Baba Bak's successor to succeed.
Yeah, so as it happens here, retiring of military chiefs happens every time a new chief is appointed. That's a normal thing. The point is that wherever you get a chief from, all those who are above him have to retire.
Of course.
It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing, you know. And then a new administration wants to work with people he wants to work with. So people are talking about, oh, how Hurricane Tinubu is coming, has swept. It's a normal thing. Every administration does it. It's not strange.
Nothing new.
Exactly. So you take out, you pick who is going to pick. Everybody that is above him on the hierarchy has to retire. Because, hey, you cannot have the head of a particular armed force and then you have somebody who was there before him or who has a higher position. It's just a normal thing.
All right, and that's it on the newspaper this morning. Thank you so much, Mike. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. We've got a quick break now, people. Wake Up Nigeria continues in a bit. Stay with us. Our relationships segment, and this morning we have quite an interesting topic, the role of finance in decision-making when choosing a partner. We have on the couch Dare Olatoye. He's the CEO of True Flutter, a man with a natural flair to bring people together. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. We all know how critical and important finance is. I feel like it plays like a really major role in every relationship. We have seen people, we've seen marriages, relationships break up due to lack of finance or mismanagement of it, right? So first, let's talk about its importance and why it's very, very critical when it comes to a relationship situation.
Well, I would say that a lot of people would think that the politically correct thing to say is that love conquers all, love is everything, but love is just one of the things you need to consider when it comes to looking for a relationship. Finance is very, very important. And when it comes to that, you know, you need to be able to, because everybody, we all have our lifestyles. We have a vision of how we want, or a blueprint of how we want to live our lives. You know, and if we want to live our lives that way, you know, you need to find someone that aligns with you regarding your vision and your vision for your finance and how you want to live your life. But if there's a misalignment, then that becomes an issue when it comes to having a great relationship.
We've seen cases where people say, does money important in a relationship? There are people that they would even say that because I remember there was a time on Twitter there was some controversy of a man who didn't have enough, right? And he wanted to get married to this young lady, and then people came at him that you have no business getting married if you're not financially buoyant, if you're not financially stable. So let's talk about the role, you know, it plays in a relationship.
It plays a major role. But one thing I always tell people that, you know, sometimes a lot of people have a certain finance and they want to meet people with a different kind of lifestyle and they feel they want to get married to those people. I feel everybody can get married. Even the lower class get married every day, but they get married according to the level of like income they earn. So if you feel that you can do like even a small wedding, a wedding with maybe like 5 members of the family there, and you feel that your finance can cover that, can cater to it, then that is fine because people get married every day. I think it's being able to understand how much you earn and how much your expenses are, and you feel that you're comfortable within that your space to be able to have that kind of marriage or that kind of relationship that you want for yourself.
Okay, I also hear conversations around the Gen Zs about how financial security is very important.
Yes,
and this time, not just from the man, but also from the woman. I've seen or I've heard men, young men, who say, I'm going to marry or I have to marry a woman who is at least earning a 9-to-5 salary. Now let's talk about why, you know, that is very important. And is it advisable for one to go into a marriage for financial convenience and security?
Well, I wouldn't say for financial convenience. It's when you're married, when you're alone, when you're single, it's about you, yourself. But when you're married, when you're getting married, it's about both of you, both parties. So you have to be very frank with yourself and be true to yourself that if you want to get married at this point in time, would you be able to cater for both of you? Would you be able to fund the lifestyle that you crave or you want for yourself? And if you feel that you can't fund the lifestyle with your partner and you feel that you need to both come together and join forces to build something, and that is fine. It's okay to look for someone that you feel that needs to earn like a salary or something, an income, to be able to fund that lifestyle you want. So there's nothing bad in it.
Now, you talked about planning here.
Yes.
And I think that's something that's lagging in a lot of relationships. A lot of people really do not know how to come together to have like a real financial plan that covers, you know, the family as a whole. Give us a few tips on how, you know, a couple, who's someone watching this right now, can learn from, you know, coming together as a couple, you know, and, you know, having that financial plan, regardless of, you know, their financial capabilities.
So first things first, you need to open 3 accounts. You need to open your personal accounts for different things you want to do. But you need to open a joint account. Joint account is for maybe your house, your cars, maybe for traveling. You know, you need to be able to put money into together and also being able to understand what your partner earns. And you can come to a decision and say, create an Excel sheet and say, okay, do you know what? Every month we're going to be putting a certain amount of money in our joint account just to fund the lifestyle we want. If it's to travel, this for a house we want to buy. And for your own personal account, you can say you want to buy whatever you want to buy, like, you know, weave on or whatever you want to buy. Because ladies actually like to buy certain things that are quite expensive. And if you're using it from your personal money, then your husband won't frown at it. And if your husband wants to buy an expensive, maybe Rolex, it can do it with his own personal money. So it doesn't create resentment. But also the most important thing is that you're both coming together to build something and you're not losing your essence in the process. You know that you're not losing, you know, a lot of things you used to do before. You can still fund your own personal lifestyle and also build something with your partner.
Now let's talk about conflict resolution, because you've actually said something here that struck a chord. When it comes to, let's say, in the case of a joint account, someone falters. How do you manage that the conflicts that, you know, that resonates from it? Because, I mean, these things are, you know, inevitable. They will happen, right? So, I mean, I even have my own experience from it. So how does, you know, one, you know, help to manage that situation without making it look as if, you know, you are infringing on somebody's ego or just managing the situation? You know what I'm talking about.
First of all, I think it's the tone at which you say things. The tone actually matters. It's the kind of energy you're putting out there for your partner. It's the tone at which you talk to your partner and you won't make your partner feel a certain way. But if you say joking, babe, what's up? Babe, I didn't see your contribution this month. Though. There's going to be a penalty for that. Maybe you might be paying an extra 100,000 for you defaulting on your payments. And you can just say jokingly. And of course, your husband would understand that, okay, we need to do some certain things in the house. And if he doesn't put in the funds, then of course that stops that from happening. But it's just a tone at which you say things, the energy they are emitting, you're transmitting to your husband or your wife, that would create a certain response from them, and not making them feel a certain way, not making them feel that they can't provide. It could be from different reasons. It could be from maybe your husband mismanaging money, or your wife mismanaging money, or maybe they just forget to do it. So they're just ways at which you can, pass that message across.
So the tone and approach is very important.
Very important.
In managing conflicts. Thank you so much, Dari.
You're welcome.
This has been a very insightful conversation. I'm sure somebody watching right now is like, oh my gosh, I need to put together a financial plan that will be, that will benefit my family, in the long run. We have to head over to the kitchen now. Wondering what's cooking today, Titi?
Thanks, Yes, I would like you to welcome Chef Ara into the building. How you doing, Chef?
Very well, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, we can see that you're already hard at work. This is a chef that doesn't like to waste time. He likes to just get into it, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. He's already peeled and, diced some yam here. But before we go into what you're doing physically, what's the main meal? What are we putting together?
This morning we are making porridge yam.
Porridge yam?
Yeah.
So is this like the porridge yam you get at Owambe? Or is this, the type that you have on the weekend in your house?
This is something different from the usual one you always have. Even in the Owambe party, but we're going to learn something different today.
Okay, let's talk ingredients.
In my own way.
Let's talk ingredients. The first one that pops out at me is this pomo. Some huge pomo. We've talked about pomo on the show over the past week, but that's another story for another day.
All right.
We have
crayfish, scent leaf.
Okay. And then, of course, Titus fish.
Onions, green pepper.
Okay.
Oil.
So this is green atarodo.
Yeah.
Right? Why the green ones, though?
There's a special flavor from the green one.
It's the yellow one we see more, which is
but you're seeing the green one.
Yeah.
I love this particular porridge with the green touch.
Okay.
You're going to enjoy it more.
All right, fantastic. Now, in a bag, congealed here, we have palm oil. We decided not to open it yet because we don't need it yet.
No.
But it's interesting that it's congealed. Is it because it was cold or is it just atmosphere?
Because of the fish and also the atmosphere.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
We're close to each other.
So I did notice something. This Titus fish is right here in front of me, but I can't smell it. Like I used to believe that Titus fish had this really pungent odor. Yeah. But I'm not smelling anything.
But this is different. This is the white one.
The white one. Okay, so this one is the one that doesn't smell too bad.
It doesn't smell too bad, and it doesn't have too much of oil. And it's very, very good for you.
All right. So some people say there's original one, there's fake one. Yes. So this is the original.
This is the original one.
All right. No wahala. So I know that anyone that's actually smelly is probably the one that is not.
And also the kote smells so much. Rather than the Titus.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why.
All right. So we also have yam in here.
Diced.
Any particular type of yam?
Any yam, exactly. Anyone.
Okay, not Abuja yam or?
The Abuja one is always finer. This is white.
It's white. Okay, all right. Then pepper already cleaned.
Yeah.
And the stalks removed. So the first thing you did was to dice
Peel
the
yam and dice it.
Okay. Are we doing anything to the yam right now?
I'm doing a lot to the yam.
What are we doing?
Now, one special thing about what I'm doing today is that everything is going the same time.
Oh, okay.
So that's different. That's where the whole thing is coming from today.
Okay.
The pepper is going into the yam now.
Okay.
The fish is going in. The crayfish is going in.
Wow.
Virtually everything is going in now.
Interesting. Even the scent leaf too?
No,
that's last. That's last. Okay. All right. So after dicing the yam now, your next move is to dice maybe the
onions.
Okay.
The pepper going in.
Okay.
Oil, momo is going in. Fish is going in.
All right. So we still have quite a lot of prepping to do, but you can go ahead. Keep going with what you're doing while we talk. So I can see on your crest here, it says Ara Cakes and Decor. So I didn't see that coming. I saw fish, I saw crayfish, and then I saw the crest, cakes and decor. You want to, while you're dicing, can you let us into how you started?
Well, the journey started from the kitchen, actually. I love to cook long ago, even while I was in primary school. But fortunately for me, dreaming to be a banker and all that, this is where I found myself a baker.
A baker?
Yeah, and this is what I've been doing for over 23 years now.
Amazing, amazing. I know we have a thing or two to learn from people like you. We have a baker
and
a cook in the building. Maybe one of these days you come and bake for us too.
I love that a lot. That's like my thing.
Ara has a lot of dicing, slicing, and cleaning to do in the kitchen, but it feels like it's going to be an amazing meal today. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure you stay tuned.
Welcome, Titi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here.
It's good to see you too, Mike. I love the blue.
Thank you. Thank you.
I miss you guys.
Are you serious?
Just 2 days and I miss you guys like this. You guys are more important than I thought you were.
So maybe when Mike eventually writes his book, he'll tell all about it.
I trust you.
Maybe I would rather do an audiobook. Maybe.
Interesting.
Maybe, because I thought about it. Like, I think of classics like Think and Grow Rich, Richest Man in Babylon, and all of that. And I feel like if it's an audio format, or they are in audio format, I've listened to them in audio format, I feel like you can do them while doing other things. It's maybe easier to assimilate. I don't know. But I like the concept of audio books. But we're not talking about an audio book this time, right?
Not yet, but I'm going to offer my services to...
Oh, yes, you do audio.
If you need an audio book.
Audiobooks, yeah.
I can help you record yours. That's kind of my thing.
Nice one.
I really wouldn't mind.
Yeah, but why are you doing face like that? You record your own now. The word bitter. Jagzy. Well, anyways, we're talking about Yvonne Nelson, and I saw this. She's been trending for a few days, and apparently she wrote a book, a tell-all.
Yeah.
But there are a few things I want to say. Before it's a tell-all. She actually spilled, a lot of beans on the table, I want to say some things first, right? Many of you know about it already, but I don't think that for everybody to heal, they have to talk. I don't think so. We are not. Yes, because when you watch shows like Chude, the one he's doing and all of that, and it seems like everybody feels the need to talk. I feel like there are some things that are better left unsaid. There's some things that are better left unsaid. Because some people go into it and say they want to talk because they want to heal. And it's not every. I've spoken to some people who have spoken and said, oh, maybe I wish I didn't say this or I didn't say that. Some things should just go. You should just let go. There should be, don't feel the urge or the need to shalaye. In fact, DJ, play me DJ Neptune feat Spyro. Alaye, no de shalaye. Count your many blessings.
But seriously, well, I feel some people do need to shalaye to heal. They need to let go of a lot of things that they've been carrying around with them. We thank God that people like Yvonne have been able to still grow in their careers despite everything she was carrying with her, despite the baggage. But then again, it also does prove for an interesting read. Yeah, there are the same way we look to gossip blogs right now is a way back in the day, let's say 10 years ago, people used to wait for the next tell-all to grab another book. So many great people have written books that actually helped get things off their chest so that they could embark on other journeys.
Other things, yeah.
And then it also is a learning curve for so many other young people that are probably looking up to these icons.
That's one. Maybe that's one. But I mean, what do you think about it? Would you have a tell-all book? In fact, in the book, details, for those who don't know, she spoke about aborting Nyanya.
Terminating a pregnancy.
Terminating the pregnancy, for Nyanya.
For Sakodi.
Sakodi, the Ghanaian, yes.
Then she was in a relationship with Inyanya, and then Inyanya cheated on her with Tonto Dike.
Tontolet.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. No, but so, there was a neighbor that was calling her.
Yeah. So
any neighbor that eye is looking at me, your eye will close.
Wow.
Well, it could also be a strategy for making money.
Strategy as in you don't think those things happened?
No, I'm not saying it did not happen. Okay. I'm just saying that a tell-all book, because, I mean, instead of just leaking those information to Instablog or any of those other blogging sites, you write a book, and it's going to sell. And all of those profits, all the monies or earnings come to you because it's your money, it's your book. Yeah.
But they're sharing it now on WhatsApp.
It's your intellectual property.
It's your intellectual property,
but now the book is
right?
being shared.
So, I mean, it could also be a strategy for her to make money because, I mean, she's been in the movie industry for a while. We know that she's been off the movie scene for a really long time, right? And we're not exactly sure what she's been doing since she's been off the scene because we know her as an actress, right? So this might also be a business strategy for her. And there's nothing wrong with, I mean, if you feel the need to tell all, to bear yourself in your book or in a book, please, by all means.
Well, one thing I want to mention here is the book is titled I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. And the most important part of that book was where she doesn't know her father now as it stands because she conducted a DNA test was conducted. And the person she has known to be a father, who she has felt has always been deadbeat, is actually not her father. And I'm wondering that, imagine finding out at such an age. I can't imagine what that would mean or how it would feel to her.
The impact it would have.
And apparently maybe the man knew, according to reports, but he didn't
say
mention. I don't know why. Maybe I need to read the book and maybe if we could talk to her and find out exactly why didn't he, or the man himself.
We were talking about Father's Day on Monday, and we also established that there's a difference between a father and a dad, right? And one of them has been there for you through thick and thin. Maybe he didn't have that much money, you know, and then maybe the other is the type that just comes back later on in life and, you know, possibly makes a request or two of you, like maybe a kidney.
So but how about this one?
Or money.
This one is shocking.
So it is, but there are some men that just decide to, just for the sake of the child, just keep that information to themselves, you know. But there are other things in this book. Now, she also talks a bit about motherhood. She says the prize and price of motherhood. That's a whole chapter. Yeah, she says, you know, she also tags Nigeria and its powerful men. So there are a lot of different angles to this book. Yeah, so I think the ones that have come out, the information that's come out on, you know, social media is just those ones that they know probably would trend. But there are some other things
which I also think it's also a beautiful strategy for selling the book because we're in an era where controversy sells. So, I mean, if that's out there, I want to get more scoop on that. I'm going to go buy the book.
Imagine to know that neighbor that spoiled everything.
Wow.
There was a neighbor calling her. Like she planted a mole or something, eh?
Wow.
So be careful about your neighbors.
Wow.
But yeah, I get all your points and all of that. You know, but I still, you know, coming off Father's Day and all of that, I still want to say that that one is shocking to me. And imagine having to at that age.
There've been a lot of father dramas. The footballer over the weekend.
That was not drama.
Well,
it's not worth talking about.
He was in a supermarket. That was dramatic. He was in a supermarket on camera.
So imagine, I was telling somebody when I saw that, I was like, it is not worth discussion. Somebody just stands up from nowhere, says your mother is not your mother, your father, what proof do you have? You see, it doesn't have anything.
Well,
it doesn't have anything. I mean, come on, you can't just pick up, you can't just throw a stone at every dog on the street. And that's just what I'm saying. Look how you look.
No, it's not about judging a book by its cover.
Anyway, with this book, I mean, if she also touched on different angles, which I'm very curious on, I'm hoping that there are also lessons that people can learn from her experience in the movie industry as a woman in this time, and you know, different lessons that people could pick on, right? So yeah, and then
some people yes. He made a reference, and then people were talking about his song. Remember that song?
Yvonne Nelson, I like your Wilson.
He mentioned Toto Dike. So people were then looking at the other names he mentioned. Bad guy. And yes, and look, let me tell you, I will go back to what I said at the beginning. There are some things that should go with you to your grave. Some things should go with you to your grave. Like, but then bring that kind of information. What does it do?
Yeah, but then again,
imagine if I said, there's a popular guy.
And the book won't sell as much now.
Do you understand?
Book won't
It's
sell
a
as much.
strategy, my
It's all
darling.
strategy.
It's a strategy. So
I'm telling
use
you.
it to make money.
So what's
And
your
it's
strategy,
gonna
ma'am?
sell.
Honestly.
What are you going to tell us?
Darling, if I don't, that's why it's called the strategy. You don't need to know about it till you
Now I'm wondering how we can get my own book together. So guys, I'm writing my book.
How did he?
Officially, I'm writing my book.
Did you write it?
What?
Go sell.
Wow.
Yeah. But it just
No,
depends
Titi,
on-
but it will sell. I mean, for many things, you're a celeb. I mean,
Yeah.
Would you sell,
right.
Titi? Would you sell?
You want to sell that? Go sell.
It will
So if
sell.
you don't want me to call you out, you better send me a WhatsApp message now.
Yo, but
You know
I
who sells.
so someone said something. Has Toto so far, as the last time
Sometimes
I checked,
not
Toto has
responded. So that's the thing. Everyone is waiting and like,
Okay.
If she
tell, when are you going away? And then you've been going back and recalling. There was a particular episode of the Ebuka's show,
Yeah.
Robin Minds,
Yeah.
where she was on it, and then she was asked at the time,
Yeah.
because there were speculations or rumors at the time that she was in a relationship with Inyanya.
What did she say?
Right, and she said no, she was never in a relationship with Inyanya. As a matter of fact, she doesn't even know Inyanya. That they just met maybe twice or thrice, and she doesn't really know him.
Yes, but that she went to
Right.
his house and the neighbor saw them doesn't mean they're in a relationship.
True.
That's
Very
you
true.
understand.
So she could be
That's-
telling the truth as well.
Yes, because I think she
My
probably
thing
is.
is now, Mike, all these things people are doing is speculation. Buy this book now. Bring
Who
it.
told you I've
Let's
not bought
see.
it?
Oh, you.
But my point, yeah, because
Mike
you see,
has the
everything
book.
she's
Wow.
saying, I mean, that somebody visited you and whatever went down, don't mean you're in a relationship. So, but like people said, if Toto should respond, it'll probably bring more traffic.
Yeah.
More traffic to the
yeah.
book. People want to check it out and all that. But but I would want to say that to heal, you don't have to say everything. And even at that, people still hold back. I don't feel therapy. I don't know about you guys. But I don't feel like therapy has to revelation, makes.
Yeah, but really, that's the essence of therapy. Therapy is supposed to be a form of finding healing, which
Yeah.
which people eventually find, or which people eventually get, right? So if you feel that you need therapy to heal, please, by all means, go ahead and find that therapy. If you feel that you're going to find healing from writing a book or documenting your experience, you may not even write, you may not even release it. Maybe you're journaling or something.
Let me tell you, somebody told me something. It's not everything that you should want to know. Something you can know. It's better you don't know.
Please.
And as we always
write.
say here at TVCE,
Put your thoughts in a
resist
book and a
the
pen.
urge to shalaye. And at this point, we're going to be taking a quick break right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Welcome back, guys. Now, there's something about having beauty pageant representatives, both the guys and the girls. There's something about them when they arrive. They're all poised. They walk a certain way. They have this confidence. And we just kind of assume that that's how they are. But did you know that there are some brains behind all that poise? There's some training behind all that structure and all those great looks. And people like who we have on the couch today are the reason why they look so good.
Yes, his name is Toby Olamide Alabi, popularly known as TCC. He's the founder of TCC organization. So guys, listen, right? A two-time Miss World, three-time Miss Supranational, National, two-time Miss Echo Nigeria, and current Miss Echo International first runner-up. He has also been recognized internationally and has gained so many awards. You are welcome, Toby.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so now, if you're just sitting in the reception somewhere and someone passed by, they wouldn't know the job you do.
At all. They wouldn't know. And the funny part about it is that I don't have to say much because once my girls pass through, my job is done. The accolades just keep coming in and people go like, wow. And I'm sitting right there and I'm like, I say wow too.
You need to tell us how this all started.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I started out as a model. I modeled for about 3 years prior to being a coach. And I remember the first time I went for my modeling casting, the ever first one I did, I wasn't selected, honestly. They told me I was not tall enough.
Wow.
I know we hear this all
That
the
has
time.
happened to me before.
I know, right? Models tell you all the time, and then you think it's a myth, but it's not. They actually say to us that we are not tall enough. And I wasn't upset. I remember taking the broom and I'm like, if I'm not going to work the show, I'm going to clean at the show. I just want to be at the show.
Oh, wow.
And I was really determined to be at the show. I was at the show. The next year, same thing. And for the third time, after going twice, I was selected.
Wow.
And I was the one who opened the runway. So I opened the show and then everybody went like, what? That energy, that presence. We didn't know you were a complete package. And then I realized there's so many people who are very good, but are not given an opportunity to show how good they are simply because the first appearance, which is the physical appearance, is not what the judges are looking for.
Okay.
So I decided to stand in the gap for those people and start training them and start bringing out the best in them and let people see that there is more than meets the eyes. And that's how we got here.
Okay, now let's talk about your experience so far doing this. And we know that we live in a climate where you're a man and you're effeminate. People give you that stare, like, Tell us how you manage that.
Okay, so when I started, honestly, it is, first of all, let me just give a big shout out to my family because it takes a strong family to appreciate what you do when it's not the norm. And we are in Nigeria where stereotypes and conversations can rise up anytime. Exactly. And next thing, your name is blowing out of proportion. But when I started, I reminded myself that you're doing this thing for a particular group of people. Okay. There's a reason, you know, to why you're doing this. Let your reason be known. You know how when we're going to school, they say, remember the son of who you are. Yeah. Exactly. So there was a reason for this. It was to change the narrative. It was to break the walls. It was to break the bias. I was not concerned about what anybody was going to say. Of course, I'm human. Once in a while, it would get to me, but I kept reminding myself that you need to stand in the gap. And standing in the gap is a lot of work. You cannot be in the gap and not be talked about. So you have to decide, do you want to be talked about or do you just want to be there? And I don't want to be basic. I'm not mediocre. I mean, come on. This is 2023.
I'm so sorry. I need to jump in because we just saw you with some amazing beauty queens. And they all really appreciate you for what you've done. But for those that have probably not seen you do what you do, what is that process? How do you take them from start to finish during the camp for these pageants?
Okay, so when I started, it was just come get trained, go for your pageant. I wish you all the best.
Okay.
But my brand evolved into not just training you, but changing your entire mindset as a person.
Okay.
I want you to stand in front of the world and be brave enough to say, I can do this, I'm enough.
Okay.
You know, my mantra has always been, I'm good enough, I'm enough, I can do this, I have great potentials. So I instilled in them all the qualities I told myself. Like the Bible says, see it, our man diligent in his doing, he'll stand before kings and not before men. So I keep telling my girls, I'm like, if you are diligent, if you're determined, if you know what you want, you will stand in the highest of heights. And what's the highest of heights in pageantry is winning the crown, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that pushed me to keep being the best, to give them the best. I study, I take courses, I have my lineup of activities that makes me the person who I am today. And I'm grateful for the fact that I can teach. You know, it's not everyone who can teach. So today, being a 2 times Miss World and a 3 times Miss Supranational coach, honestly, that is surreal.
It's profound.
It is.
I mean, I can see the determination, you know, in the work that you do, and it, you know, it tells in how you're, you know, talking about it and how you're selling your brand, talking about yourself and your journey. Now, let's talk about some of the mentors. I mean, you have gone through the process, you have studied, you have done the rigorous works, you have sometimes even gotten your hands dirty. Let's talk about some of the people that you have looked up to in this journey that even give you the courage, you know, to keep going.
So I'm not going to kid you. I know we hear this all the time. Oh, my mom is my superpower, my dad is my, you know, we hear that. Yeah. But to be honest, one person who has kept me going aside God, because I mean, God is the ultimate, has been my sister.
Okay.
My entire family, like I said, they're amazing. But my elder sister, she lived her life, or she is living her life in a way that is very exemplary to every one of us around her. And she has given us the opportunity to want to be more. She has given us the opportunity to be content, but also still reach for more. And that is a beautiful thing. And I can't say how grateful I am because there's certain things you cannot pay for. But family, friends, and the fans have given me the energy I have today to get to be where I am. But above everything else, I cannot sit here and not mention the fact that our very own Winfrey is a mentor. For every day I have the opportunity to tell her, I remind her that just looking at you, you showed me that I could be whatever I needed to be.
Oh, that's
and I hope she's hearing.
Yeah, she'll probably.
Winfrey, this is for you wherever you are out there. Just know that we love you.
All right. Funny stories now. Funny stories.
Let's
I know
go.
that there are some models you've met that you're like,
This one is non-teachable.
No. Do you think there's any model that you're like,
that
no,
can
it's
never
not
be
going to
thought.
work. I'm done.
Okay.
It's funny how I also had that same question.
I also had that same thought because it happens. I know. So, to be honest, I'm not on TV to make anybody feel good about themselves right now. It's about me. It has happened.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I've gone to auditions where I'm like,
okay.
Sometimes I'm like, Midday, hold it.
Don't say it. Don't say
I'm
it.
like, can I use the washroom, please?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I burst into laughter.
Okay.
But you know what? That is the challenge I like.
Okay.
Same Bible said, many are called.
Yeah.
Few are chosen. So that few that people would not go for, I would go for them.
Okay.
Because those are the ones that when their lives change, the world can relate to them. They come from nothing. Most times they come from something. But at the end of the day, the essence is the fact that you can bring out the beauty and you can now be a force for good. And aside being a force for good, is living with a beauty that has a purpose. That's the most amazing part of it.
Let's talk about the future of pageantry in Nigeria.
Okay.
I mean, you're here doing your thing. I'm sure you also have mentees, people who look up to you, who want to be like you. So we'll talk about that, but let's talk about the future of pageantry. Where do you see it in the next 5 to 10 years?
So let's go back. Let me go back 3 years ago, before I go to 5 years from now.
Okay.
3 years ago, I made some, let me say declarations, because, we have to be prophetic.
Yes, so very important.
So I made some declarations and I said this and this and this will happen in the pageants industry.
Okay.
And it was a tug of war because they didn't want it. They were fighting it. But I knew what I was saying because it was ordained. It's orchestrated to happen that way. And today they're happening. And I'm excited they're happening. 5 years from now, I know pageantry in Nigeria is going to be a sport that even the government will want to support it. We have girls representing Nigeria these days. They are so good, fabulous, they're beautiful, they're brilliant. They are literally everything a black woman should be. They represent, they stand for. And I'm so proud of each and every girl out there, not just the ones I've trained, but for every pageant girl who has left the four walls of Nigeria to represent us out there. Honestly, just take your flowers because it's not easy. This is a nation, it's the giant of Africa. You are one person. It's all on your shoulders to make sure you put us in a good light. And whatever you do out there registers. So that's beautiful. So in 5 years' time, I'm hoping that we can have more structure anyways. So structures, programs, let these things run. Let these girls not have to spend money to compete so that they are not worn out by the time they're going international. Let these girls have sponsors that are willing to do the work and not willing because they feel like these girls are at their beck and call. Let's have people that are supporting financially, mentally, spiritually, physically. That is what I hope for in the next 5 years.
And I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and there are times, I mean, over the years, we've seen beauty queens. And sometimes we ask ourselves, what is the criteria for this person?
You want to throw me under the bus. You want to throw me under the bus.
Trust me, I'm not the one thinking this way. I get into these conversations all the time.
With who?
And he asks, and I'm like, what? Please, how did this person become?
Who have you been conversing with?
Okay, but let's talk about the actual things you look out for.
Okay.
Yes.
During an audition.
Yeah.
What are you looking
Yeah.
for specifically?
Yummy.
What makes the queen the queen? What are the things that she needs to do to get the crown?
Funniest thing for me, you don't need to do anything.
Wow.
Once I see you walk into that room, I know exactly what I want.
That means you see
from
potential.
I see potential. See, I say, the owner of Miss World, the CEO of Miss World, she says all the time, beauty, she has seen beautiful women. Beauty does not freak her anymore.
Wow.
I've seen beautiful women.
Wow.
Beauty does not freak me anymore. So what's next?
What's next? What else?
What else? What can you bring? Exactly.
What's behind those amazing legs?
It's your heart.
Yeah.
And that's why my favorite beauty queen would forever be Miss Eco International first runner-up, because she's stunning. Then, of course, our beautiful Miss
Okay,
World.
that's Nena Odum.
Nena Odum. She was on the show sometime back.
Yeah.
You know what? We could continue this conversation for
We
the next
could.
1 hour, but
Love
we
it.
are almost out of time. We have Chef Ara in the kitchen with Mike, and there's an amazing meal cooking.
Can you smell the aroma?
I'm not going back to you.
Yes.
But yeah, Chef Ara, thank you cooking up this wonderful stuff here. I wish you could say it's almost ready. By no fault of Chef Ara, it was us. Just a few unusual slight issues is why this is not ready. Not him, it's us.
Yeah.
But it's almost done. Chef Ara,
Ooh, look at
porridge.
that.
This is
Looks
porridge.
good.
We're bringing out the fish now.
Ooh,
You're bringing it out.
Yeah, we'll bring out the fish.
We're not gonna fry him like this.
looks good.
We'll debone the fish.
We're supposed to fry him now. I mean, I like fried fish now.
This is not going to be fried.
I like fried fish.
No. And nothing fried is going in here.
Even the pomo.
Even the pomo will not
Have
be
you not heard what the apple said about pomo and anthrax?
What did he say?
Yeah, see the pomo? It says anthrax, so that we should be using it for leather instead of to be chopping it. It's been a
This is
wonderful
Africa.
show. All right. Thank you, Chef Ara. Wonderful meal. Thank you out there. We will see you tomorrow.
Mike, do you want to enter into the pot?
Don't enter the pot now, Mike.
We'll fry the fish now.
We are planning to come and eat this food. Bye.
We'll fry the fish.
All right, then, guys. Have a great day. See you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., y'all. Bye.
Bye.